I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series, Women's Major from the Beaumont Curling Club. My name is Jim Nixon. I'm joined with Matt Sussman, and we are going to be bringing you one of the two final games to qualify for the playoffs here. These are two C Division games, the only two games on the ice, and we are doing Selena Sturmay and Michelle Kaufman, I believe it's Michelle. No, Nicky Kaufman, excuse me. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, Jim. I think this is one of my favorite types of games where you've got two teams that are not quite in the playoffs, and yet at the same time, it's an elimination game for both teams. It's one of the reasons the triple knockout is just so fun.
Yeah, it's and both teams coming through the C Division. That's usually a grind on the last day. I'm thinking both these teams have probably played twice already today and are trying to get to that quarterfinal game tomorrow. Only 6 teams qualify for the playoffs from this 15-team field. And we already have 4. 2 qualified out of AA yesterday and had the day off today, and 2 more qualified this morning, and these will be our final 2 here this evening. Well, early misses for the Kaufman team, and
yeah, not a lot up front. Makes me wonder if they're trying to play a simple first end to get a feel for the ice, but so far, Kaufman looking to split the house so far.
Yeah, I think I'm not so sure we don't have the colors reversed here, Matt. I think that, just trying to get a look here. Yeah, I think this is the Kaufman team throwing now, actually. We'll get it straight here in a second once I get a little bit better look at who's who here. Yeah, so this is Selena Sturmay's team throwing now. Desiree Hawks, a second stone. So just a reminder to everybody watching that this is flipped a little bit. It caught us by Bugard. We missed the first shot or two here, so weren't quite sure. And it did look a little odd, the approach to the end, so I couldn't quite figure it out. I think I know by now. I've done a couple of Sturmay games already, but so she'll sit 2. Hammer Kaufman giving this some thought. I don't think there's too much to think about here. I think you pretty much have to eliminate. It's pretty early in the game to be thinking about anything about that. What we found, Matt, and Matt's just came in today so it's what we've been finding is early in the game, some of these teams are just underthrowing takeouts, and they've played a few games now, so it's gotten much better over the weekend, but early on, and even still sometimes in the early ends, they just underthrow some hits a little bit. And if you underthrow on this ice, you're in trouble because it just curls a whole lot. Really nice finish. It's great ice, but it is, you got to be aware. It's a little hit. I guess she didn't really want to roll that onto the rings. Just leave it right there and serve as a guard for her to maybe use here in a couple of shots.
Well, it looks here also that the Kaufman team has not yet played a cash spiel this year. This is their first event For Sturmay, this is their second event. They played in the Saville Shootout. So, obviously it's September, and, teams are going to take some time to get a feel for the game just in general, but also if the ice has been fooling them. This is their, third day on the ice, so hopefully they're getting better at it now.
Yeah, it's an excellent point, Matt. It's there's been a number of teams over the last weekend and this weekend that were in their first event of the year, and then on the other side we did a game with the Yoshimura team from Japan yesterday, and they were playing their sixth event of the season. So couldn't imagine that. You and I are both from clubs that don't have ice even yet, so it's a little different.
Oh yeah, six events this year is. I'm looking at the calendar and I'm trying to figure that out, but that blows my mind. That may explain why a lot of their teams have had such success in Canada this year.
Yeah, you're right. Because 3 of her events were in Europe and 3 of them here. So there's a lot of Asian teams playing in these events now, far more than there ever were. So it's great to see, and they're all good teams, for sure. In Seville Shootout, they were 4 qualifiers for the Final Four. Like I say, qualified for the playoffs, but the Final 4 teams were 3 teams from Japan and 1 from Korea. So it tells you we might have a little catching up to do. So Sturmay will ask Danielle Schmiemann to play a double here. Try to clean this up a little bit. Didn't take long for it to change around from sitting 2 just a couple of shots ago, it seemed. This could be close. It's got to come up a little bit more, or maybe it's going to go high side. Didn't quite get there, but not a terrible result.
Yeah, got 1, leaves a corner.
Yeah. So Kaufman's going to go a little defense here and get rid of the corner guard. Certainly a very defensive shot, but not necessarily terrible in the first end or so, just to give yourself a little bit of room. You might say, well, why wouldn't we should just guard the one that's there? And she probably would in 2 more ends, but just not quite ready to do that yet. She would have liked to hang around there, no question. That was a very good throw by third Karen Flory. In-turn hit. This one's going to have to curl a bunch. I think I've said a dozen times that I know I've said that all weekend long. It's got to curl a lot. It's just they don't look like they're going to make it over, and they do. So
yeah, that was just enough. That could have been bad.
Yeah. So this end's going fine for both teams. I think Kaufman's okay to kind of just play one up and down the sheet and not get into anything that too difficult here early in the game, and Sturmay is now looking at a blank end, and that's wouldn't be a bad result for her either here in the first end.
Yeah, blank ends are not exactly the most spectator friendly things, especially when the blank is largely predetermined before the skip gets in the hack, but at the same time they're helpful for both teams. It's a little bit more practice. They can pick spots on the ice, they can pick paths, they can try to do some things that may come into play later in the game.
Sure. This one's kind of hooking over a little bit. I hate to call it a lazy handle because it's not lazy, but it's just a little bit softer than some of the handles you will see thrown here this weekend and tonight. So Selena Sturmay, skip of Team Sturmay, very prominent player. Did very well at the university level, and seen her name around quite a bit the last couple of years. Seems like she's I said today earlier that it's like she's a veteran team, but they're all still relatively young. But they start so early now, and the programs are so detailed. And if you're going through the Alberta University of Alberta's program, it's pretty intense, and they have a lot of curlers come through that program. So by the time you get to ladies or men's, you're pretty well established.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of the teams, the professionalism starts early, and there's, in terms of work-life balance, there's questions about that, but in terms of results on the ice, they do seem to be very competitive at an early age now.
Yeah. My daughter actually played against Selena in the university championships back, probably be now, what would it be, 6 years ago? Maybe 7. She went twice, and I can't remember. I think it was just the first year when she played Selena. Gave her a game, but you could tell the difference between where they were as teams and where they were as just mentally as teams. And the Sturmay team was much further ahead than our girls. We were still pretty young at that time and trying to get going. So Nicky Kaufman now will just try to hit this. She'd like to hit and stay. If she could just hit this and stay right there, that would be a good spot. It's about as far as you can make Selena roll to get the blank end. This one looks okay, I think. Some people would try to roll way over in the corner somewhere, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just a matter of choice. Sometimes you like to roll somewhere where maybe they haven't thrown it. I always like the idea of making them have to roll 6 feet to get out, so I like the result of where that ended up. Out turn hit for Sturmay. You'll see she'll probably throw a little extra handle on this one. If you can do it, it's a good idea on peels and blank shot and attempts. Looked pretty good out of her hand. Sweeper's just cleaning.
Good sign.
Yep. And a good shot for Selena Sturmay. So that's one end in the books here at the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. And we have a blank end. We'll be back after the break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
So we're back for the second end here in the C qualifying game between Selena Sturmay and Nicky Kaufman, both teams out of Edmonton. We are at the Beaumont Curling Club, which has been pretty packed with competitive curling for the last 10-12 days now. The men's event last weekend and the women's event this weekend. Lots of action. Kaufman throws up what was meant to be, I think, a center guard, just curled a little bit too much. teams have a little bit of trouble getting that to end up right on the center line, which is unfortunate because you're with the rules now. You really like to be touching that center line so that they can't do anything with it at all. Although I found that most people have just ignored that front rock anyway. Hardly anybody's played. I've seen one tick shot played in the 5 games I guess I've done now. So so the intern come around. She watches, so we'll curl a little bit early, but when you hit the hog line, it just tends to turn 45 degrees and go over. And it's important for the sweepers. We've talked about this a bit. It's important for the sweepers not to give up, because sometimes I'm sure when you're sweeping, you think like, well, that's it. It's not going any further. And it really does. It tends to go that little extra, and usually it's going the right direction for you. So stay on it as long as you can. Sturmay's going to ignore all that, excuse me, and go around the corner guard. Aggressive call.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier ignoring the center guard, and I think with it being so early that if this was the 7th end, you might see a tick shot. However, she's got her deuce, as they call it, set up nicely. Although it looks like this is going to over curl or maybe be light and not get around, but that's at least the thought process there.
Yeah, for sure. And then, excuse me. Yeah, just and they've done a good job in the games I've seen so far of making that shot and setting that up and then dealing with it after, as far as the rest of the rocks go. So just Paige Papley came up just a little bit light on that one.
Another chance here for Kaufman to kind of control that front again. She's got a couple stones there, but they're not in great spots. So I think there's a chance here to maybe either choke off the come around, or maybe even come around everything and get in a better spot.
Yeah, I think that would be the call here, and it looks like, since Nicky's right there, it looks like that is the call. You're right about where they are. They are good if you can get one behind it, though, because they are staggered, which would be more challenging for the other team to remove them. But that one comes up a little light as well. I think the line was perfect. If she had 4 or 5 more feet of weight, I think it would have been a dandy.
Yeah, that's that late finish you're talking about. They're not able to quite yet adjust for that, but they've got a few ends to do that.
Yeah. So now that Selena Sturmay can play a takeout on some of these rocks, she's going to go out and remove this center guard. Try to probably pick up the one in the back. And this is a shot that Desiree Hawes is really good at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've seen I did one of their games earlier, and then this game right here, and that's all I've done. And I swear I've seen her make at least 4 or 5 doubles just like that. And she's not like she throws them solid, but she's not somebody that throws it down there at 6.5, 7 seconds. So she must throw it right at it. And Selena's probably played with her for a little while now and has a pretty good idea what she's going to throw. But she's made a lot of them and continuing.
Yes, and she's had some experience with the Scotties, and last year she had one of the best Scotties of any seconds. I think she was right up there in terms of throwing percentages.
Is that right? Yeah.
With some of the best. I think she was like 3rd or 4th among seconds, and there's a lot of good ones out there.
Well, I would not be very surprised by that based on what I've seen, the little bit I've seen here. So we got no turn peel. Desiree asked to remove this one. Selena would like to at some point probably utilize those corners that she has up there, but she's not prepared to leave a center guard here to do that. Just a clean, should be good. Shot for Desiree. Kaufman's going to throw the center guard up again. She could sneak around her red one. It's not really close enough to maybe steal a point, but it's maybe close enough to make it a little bit of a challenge for Selena. And that might happen in another couple of rocks, just a little bit early for that too, I think.
Yeah. It's also a good indicator of if you're throwing up a center guard and the other team is getting rid of it, that's your sign that that's the right shot to play. And so if it's bothering them, then you're happy to throw it.
Yeah. This one's going a little deep. Third stone, Karen Flory. Definitely didn't want to be there, though, Matt.
No. Yeah, chance here to, as she indicated, use the other corner. It's a short roll. It's very makeable.
So Selena be looking for some sort of probably down weight takeout here. It's can't baby it down there too much, but she wants to be able to control this rock on its way down. So I think she'll be looking for, probably a little bit of a board or board plus weight. I don't know what they use for terms here. We'll get an idea what this looks like. Hawes jumping it right away. Trying to hold it. So they got a pretty good, they know that it just goes so hard. If you don't get on early, you're not getting on. So that's a very good shot. They actually overswept it a little bit, I'd say.
Yes.
Just kind of held it a little bit too good. A lot of power in those strokes.
Yeah, you don't know your own strength sometimes.
I know.
So earlier I mentioned Hawes being, and I just looked this up, fourth best among seconds at the Scotties at 85%, tied for fourth. However, we should also note that the third, Danielle Schmiemann, was third among thirds at 83%, tied for third. So a couple of players on that team had really good sort of coming out parties, if you will, and that explains their success, how they got a fourth place finish at the Scotties.
So is this, I was going to say, was that the exact same team? I knew that some of them were there, but is it the same four?
It is, yes, it is. Yep.
Okay.
Selena Sturmay, Danielle Schmiemann, Desiree Hawes, and Paige Papley.
Great. So we're watching one of the teams that would definitely be a threat and looking to win the Alberta provincial playdowns when the time comes and make it back to the Scotties. She's playing the out-turn come around for Sturmay here. For Kaufman, it would have been nice for her if she had been able to stay around. I hate to give the other team these kinds of shots, especially when they've got two corner guards to work with, their own color and everything else. But Danielle Schmiemann. This one's hitting the hog line where it should go pretty hard. I had to bite my tongue there not to say it has to curl.
Old habits die hard.
I know. I literally did. I had to stop myself. So a very good shot for Danielle Schmiemann. Probably would have liked to have been above the tee line. Not much doubt about that, but still a good effort.
Yeah, that was just that. Selena was very patient. You mentioned how it was tempting for her to go around earlier. She waited until the setup was a lot better, and waited for a miss, waited for a half miss, got a couple of them, and all of a sudden, it was perfect time to do that.
Yeah, she just needed that one rollout to be able to open up that come around. Good opportunity for Kaufman, though. If she can sink one in here, she can be on the road to forcing Sturmay to one here. It'll require a good shot to do that, but sweeper's going pretty hard. I don't know if she's going to get there or not. Just by the guards. Going to be in the house. She needs a little bit more. No, not quite. Good effort. Just needed a few more feet of weight. Needed full 8 foot on that to be shot rock.
Yeah, line wasn't bad, as you can tell. That wasn't the problem, though. It was all weight, and she had a good read on the ice, but just needed a little bit more.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much. I would have kept it a little straighter early and all that. One of those if shots that we love to have curling all the time. So Sturmay debating here a little bit on whether or not to come right around the one that Michelle, or Nicky, I just want to call her Michelle, that Nicky just threw, Nicky Kaufman, or split the house and go around the other corner guard. It's an interesting option. If you go around the one on the right and bury it, then you probably force Kaufman to play another draw, and if she makes it down to that same rock she was trying to draw to before, she's going to take your whole end away. So I might like this one a little bit better. It's you got to whatever you're going to play, you got to put in the right place, in the right spot, no question. But I might like this shot a little bit better. Just tuck it around that red at the top, and Kaufman's not going to have a lot of opportunity here. She's going to be hard pressed not to give up it to 2. Sturmay, out turn draw. Sweeper's got sort of a hard clean happening here. Now starting to go a little bit more. Desiree Hawes going to try to make this one move a little bit.
That's real good.
Yeah, it's for sure. You're sitting 2 now. Kaufman does have at least the one saving grace for her probably is that she does have the exact same shot she just threw. She's taking significantly more ice than Sturmay does, but Sturmay definitely has a lot of handle. She throws a lot more rotation than some of these people, some of these curlers, and this is a type of ice surface that extra rotation is very helpful in not having you have to take like 7 feet of ice or something like that. So big shot early in the game here for Nicky Kaufman, though. She's looking at 2. She has an out, though, Matt.
Yeah, she does. I mean, as good as that last shot was, there is a chance. It's right behind the tee line. Nicky has a chance to just freeze on top of it and possibly get shot, or at least hold it to a very difficult 2.
You're going really hard on this, though. Looks pretty good from here.
It's all about the weight at this point. Line's good. Ooh.
It's unfortunate and hard to say it, and what was really a good shot, but just misswept, and that's the difference sometimes between winning and losing at this level, right? Like, if they come off of that a little bit, and they had lots of room, they weren't in danger of hitting the guard, they just let that one stop on top of the yellow, which it would have done. This shot wouldn't have been available. Now, instead of forcing her to 1, you're actually giving her a relatively easy takeout for 3, just by a little bit of an oversweep.
That's right. That's as good as that was looking. It just was a little hot.
Yeah.
And that was, hard to tell if it was just a missed sweep call or if they were just really nervous about what happened of the first skip's throw. But all the same, it's a chance for 3 here for Team Sturmay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of all the above, Matt. I think it was just, they want to make sure they get there, and they don't want it to curl, and all of those things. But it's they really needed to be let go a little bit. So Sturmay with a hit for 3, a gentle weight hit, just probably a board weight or a hack weight for this shot, and she is going to make it without too much trouble at all. All just a result of bouncing off. So Selena Sturmay picks up 3 here in the second end to take a 3-0 lead over Nicky Kaufman in the C final the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. We'll be back after the break.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Yeah. So a big 3-ender for Selena Sturmay in the second end. And she has I wouldn't say commanding yet, it's only the third end, but a decent lead of 3-0 over Kaufman. Unfortunate for the Kaufman team, they're really just a little too aggressive on the sweep call and got a little bounce off the one that she was trying to freeze to, and it could have been so good, and as a result it just bounced out, probably a foot or half a foot, and Sturmay had a chance to remove it, and she's not going to make a mistake on that too often, but she didn't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. On the other side, I love the weight choice, as you mentioned, in that hammer throw. So tempting to throw something like control at that, even though it's wide open. But you could easily you hit that wide, and you're giving up a point. Maybe you're cutting yourself down. But again, you just had to bump it out. I love that weight choice on that last shot.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that also just another shot that extra handle that Selena throws helps her a little bit, because, it's, even though she's throwing it down a little bit, it's going to run that little bit straighter, and it's a little bit easier to hold with that a little heavier rotation. So it's a little bit easier to manage. Some people, if they threw it that light, it's going to curl by 2 feet, or crash on something. So Kaufman will have to get moving a little bit here. She's not actually going to be able to wait very long to try to get a point or two and get back on the scoring side of this game. Sturmay team, pretty solid team, obviously, by virtue of the fact that they were at the Scotties last year, and they beat a lot of good teams on a regular basis. So Nicky Kaufman, like it or not, is going to have to probably get a little bit aggressive. Playing a little hit and flop here. Good call. Looks like bumper weight, I think. Hack weight. A little bit more than hack weight. So bumper or board. Or barrier if you're in Scotland.
And again, another thought process here for Team Kaufman. For those watching, it's again tempting to just say, all right, they gave up 3 points. We're going to come out here and we're going to score our 3. It's just that easy. Well, someone once told me, like, no matter how many in an early game, no matter how many points you give up, come back and just focus on 2. Focus on 2 points.
Exactly, yeah.
And you're right back in it. And then the 3 might happen by, fortune or an excellent shot, but she's only got to worry about the 2. And it's not set up great for her. I mean, there's some center guards, but she can use them. And she's, like you said, far from out of this.
Yeah, a great shot there by lead Krista Hilker. Make the hit and roll behind the guard. She actually roll right over behind her own guard, not behind the center guard. Desiree Hawes now being asked to throw a come around. Selena's going out to maybe help sweep this. I don't know how many times it's a great thing for a skip to do, but maybe at her young age, she's doesn't sweep like I sweep anymore. Yeah, maybe like I ever did. I did play front end for a few years, and I could actually move it a little bit, but pretty good shot.
She could just be getting cold.
Yeah, old. I think old's the other word.
Cold? Oh, it's cold. Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
Isn't that the case?
Yeah. It's terrible that they go hand in hand. They shouldn't go hand in hand. So we've got a sort of just a little tap shot called here. Michelle Kaufman is asking for like back 8 foot kind of weight. Probably a little more important to get the movement here than it is to move that rock very far. It's a second stone, Kim Curtin. That's a last name, a name that could lead to some bad jokes on days where the game's not going very well, is it? The Curtin.
It's curtains.
A little different spelling, but it sounds the same. So a little light on that. She would definitely like to have been heavier than that. She wanted to move that yellow one for sure. Had a little bit of trouble getting in there. Unfortunately, she might end up being forced to play some peels and things like that, where she really wouldn't prefer not to have to play those kinds of shots down 3-0.
Yeah, especially when the only, she'd hate to have to blast. Kaufman would have to hate to do that. Sturmay's fine with her doing that because hers is set up pretty well. But so the calls here just to guard that that intern side.
Yeah, it looks like that's where she's trying to go. Or
I know what you want to say. It will curl.
Yeah, yeah. It's time, but well, I don't know, Matt. I think that do you have to make a move on these? Do you have to move those guards, or do you think you can come right in around and sit on the corner of the yellow?
Yeah. I mean, you could certainly set yourself up, play a nice freeze there, and possibly use it later. Looks like they're electing to might be able to remove a couple, maybe a yellow and possibly that red that came up light here, leaving another. You could move everything off the center line, possibly. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think this probably is the right move at this point. I don't know that they're quite ready to tackle that little come around corner free shot, and if they this could be good, could be really good, could be super good. Wow. So I don't know for sure if they had that one set up or not in their minds, but it was a great shot by second Kim Curtin. That would be a one triple raise takeout and stuck for 2. That's a terrific shot.
Yeah, they don't ask how, they ask how many, right?
Yeah. Could definitely see that one there. It was just, I wasn't positive whether or not when you hit the 2 yellows that you'd get your own in the right place or not. I couldn't tell how far apart they were. But so you made Sturmay start to think a little bit, which is never a bad thing when you're down 3-0. And you have a couple of rocks in the house. Sturmay's going to stay a little bit on the aggressive side, just try to get one in, and it's not a bad shot. She could play the double peel, like the hit the high red one a little bit on the outside, and both reds would go, and the yellow one would go towards the house, but probably would go through the hole if nothing else. That would be pretty defensive, but it wouldn't be a horrible shot either. Third, Danielle Schmeeman. I have a little hard time getting that word out, that last name out. Sometimes what I find we've done so many games, and especially with the European teams, it's just the names are a little hard, and you can't quite get your head around what it's supposed to be. It's hard to say it right. So here we go. Trying to go through the hole. She's going to be close. I think she might catch the outside of the yellow one. And she does. So Nicky Kaufman in great shape here, really, all of a sudden, after 2 shots. That last shot before this really put her in this position. Now make sure you bear down on these next couple of shots, though, and make sure that you get them exactly where you want them. You don't want to give Selena an easy out here where she can get rid of 2 or all 3 or something on 1 shot.
Yeah, we're getting into that point of the end where things are getting very cluttered, and finding a spot to open things up become a little more tricky. So it's, I think, a matter of it's almost kind of a race to get in there first.
Yeah.
And get in the best spot.
Working hard on this one, trying to get it to move over. And it's going to work out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A fortuitous rub there, but
yes,
it worked out very well. So Kaufman sitting 3, 2 of them buried behind a wall of rocks. This is the shot that we just talked about a minute ago, where you could hit that red one a little high, and the reds are definitely going to go, and the yellow's probably going to go, not going to help you, but it's going to go out. So everything could be gone after this shot, which, you know, even though Sturmay doesn't have hammer or anything else, that might be a better situation for her than what she's looking at right now.
Yeah, looking at the angles, I think that yellow rock goes through the hole. I don't know if it hits anything, but I think they're fine with that.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly, and if it does, that could be good for Sturmay. So at the out turn, this team definitely has a preference for the out turn when it comes to any kind of peel type shot. Well, we knew what we were talking about on that one, Matt, but I didn't expect her to be able to stay with that. I really thought that would go right out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good result, because now their second shot, but what does that leave Team Kaufman?
Well, yeah, and Kaufman needs to think it out a little bit, because it's definitely, if you play this, which she probably needs to play it. She's going to sit 4, but Sturmay's going to have a very, very short run back, or just a raised takeout, I guess would probably be a better word for it, to get rid of a couple of reds and probably leave hers in there for I don't know, second or third or something shot. So it's that made a big difference. So that was the end result of that shot was very good for the Sturmay team.
Yes.
Despite the fact they're going to be looking at 4 in a minute.
It needs to sit, though. Yes, it does.
Yeah, very good shot.
Is there a double there, though? You can certainly get rid of 1. I don't know if that top one moves.
Yeah, I think it goes if it doesn't hit the other red one. I'm just not sure if it'll completely miss the other red one. She'll be pretty firm with this. And if it doesn't, she may well stay sitting there behind this one she's throwing, behind the shooter, for number probably 3. Should be a start. But you only have a couple more rocks to come. 2 rocks each left. Kaufman with hammer and sitting 4. I'm pretty sure if you told me that at the start of this end, I would have said you're nuts.
Oh yeah, I think this is the right call. And don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing the shot. I'm just not sure you can get rid of 2 reds here. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure either. We'll see in a sec. It's just, ooh, she threw it hard enough, but she might have thrown it out.
Extra mustard.
Well, looks okay. Well, wow, she really didn't technically get rid of anything, but hers is in a pretty good spot. So that's a super good shot for Selena Sturmay. It's it's one of those you're not maybe 100% sure where everything's going to end up. I would not have thought that would have gone quite that way, but
is that called the push and pray?
Yeah. That's good. I never heard that before. So Kaufman's got to go after this, I think.
Yeah, you can certainly chase it. You can chase it with maybe backline weight. maybe try to kind of squiggle it into the 12-foot, possibly, and bring some of the others into play. But you got to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a game changer shot here. If she makes this, she's in great shape and might get out of here with multiple score. If she doesn't make this, then Selena probably takes this shot away somehow, or it splits the house and just forces her to make a shot for one, which would be a pretty disappointing result after sitting here with all the rocks you had in here a second ago.
Absolutely.
The irony is that the red ones all went to good spots. As far as Kaufman goes, it's just the yellow one and we went to too good of a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here it comes, the out turn. As Matt was saying, probably somewhere around the back line, maybe even could be hack weight. It will curl enough with hack weight.
Sweepers are saying this is up.
Yeah, but I think she's okay.
By the
gotta
guard.
get it by. Wow, not a real serious effort to make that shot. I don't feel like.
Yeah,
critical, but I'm just like that was a really good throw.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the way to miss it too. You got rid of I think you got rid of something that was guarding it and your shot.
Yeah.
So she can't just, plug up what she's got. She has to make a play on this as well. But if she makes this shot, it's looking like a force. If she can just sit or even roll to the left, away from the bird, if you will.
Yeah.
She can escape this end with a force.
Yeah, I just hate to see that result on that last shot. I can't get my head off of that one. I'm thinking, man, I just sweep that a little bit harder earlier on. And even when I got close to the guard, I didn't really feel like anybody was really in a panic. I thought, you should panic a little bit. So Sturmay looking to hit and sit 2 on this one. This looks okay. I'll roll a little bit to the outside, maybe. So a good shot for Selena. Sits 2, and really, Kaufman has not any serious opportunities to score more than 1, and has to make a decent shot to score 1, to be honest.
Yeah, that end was just completely taken away by Selena having 2 really nice shots, especially the first one, which may not, like you said, may not have been exactly how she drew it up, but she just knew that she had a rock in a good place that she could hit, and she just, gave it some extra firepower and was able to scatter them all and left hers in a good spot. I don't know what else they're looking at here. I think that the simple call, the logical call is put up a draw to the 4. That's what you got to do. I don't know how you score more than 1 though, Jim.
No, you don't. And I think that's part of the problem. I think because they were set up so good that they're just looking and trying to think like there's got to be a way. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be a way to get more than 1 here, and there's not. So the question is, are you ready to play the just cold draw to the button, or are you going to try to play the same shot maybe you just threw, which is much harder than the draw, I think. But she did throw it. She would have made it the last time with a little bit of brushing, and so that's what I think she's playing, man. I think it's the out turn, the same shot she threw a minute ago. I don't think she has any aspirations that she's going to score more than 1 on it. If she does, she's probably wrong.
I always buy the argument that you just threw this, so throw it again is a really good reason to do a shot, even if it's just for 1.
Yeah. It's a big shot, though. You got to really make this one. Make this one. You're down 3-1, and it's not wonderful shape, but it's not bad. If you don't make this, you're down 5-0 possibly, and that's a long way back. But it looked like a good release again, and it's got to curl a ton. I know, but I'm right this time. She's gonna get a piece. I have to assume she overthrew that. Unless they really thought somehow if she could throw that weight and hit half a rock, she might be able to do something with the other side, but it wasn't going to happen. So Selena Sturmay picks up 1, steals 1 here in the third end, and takes a 4-0 lead to the fourth end.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
So we're back here. It's about to start the fourth end in our C qualifying game between Selena Sturmay and Nicky Kaufman. Jim Nix with Matt Sussman bringing you this evening's game. Last end was a very interesting end, as you would have seen. It turned around a couple of times and went from what was shaping up to giving Kaufman an excellent opportunity to get back in the game and possibly even take the lead in the game. Sturmay made that great shot. It turned out not to be just a single knockout. 3 of them stayed, but her shooter rolled so well behind that guard that Nicky Kaufman couldn't do very much with it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Single takeout being the operative word. It's like you want to come up with some kind of new shot. They do it in gymnastics all the time. In gymnastics they come up with new moves and then you get it named after yourself.
Yeah.
And we have it a little bit in curling. A couple people, we got the Hack2 double, things like that. But it's hard to describe exactly how Selena Sturmay's shot just completely changed the trajectory of that end. But as a result, it ended up with a steal of 1.
That's right. It's funny, new names. We were talking earlier in one of the games a couple of games ago, and just right where that red guard is there is sort of not exactly a center guard and it's not exactly a corner guard. So we kind of thought there should be a name for that. And then we kind of thought maybe tweener guard would be the word, just because it's somewhere in between a center guard and a corner guard. So we thought that would be a good one. We might have a little contest or something, let people name that guard, but not today.
Because we don't have enough jargon in our sport. We just need we just need some other new name for it. No, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. All right. That's good. We get 1 vote. I'm going in the house here, and I don't. If we're down 4-0, you probably want to wait a little bit before you go in the house here. But it's going to be a good shot. Pretty much see it all.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. You miss on that guard, you put it back.
That's exactly right.
It's the only reason you may not do this, but a little bit down weight might not hurt.
Desiree Hawes. Not betting against her.
No.
It's curling pretty good. Couldn't touch. Maybe a little rub to straighten it out. I don't know, but good shot for Desiree anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look I've got a bit of a replay here. Yeah, I think it just sort of ticked the feathered off that red guard.
Did it? Yeah. Backside, as they say.
Yeah. That straightened it out pretty well for her.
Kaufman looks like she's maybe trying to just move those yellows back a little bit.
Yeah, so this is, again, when you're down 4, you don't really want to take things out as much as you'd want to. You got to remind yourself the 3 yellows in the you want to make those rocks your friends for a little bit. So tap them, move them around, but you don't want to get rid of them because then she's just going to hit them back.
No.
Although that one's not getting anywhere. It crashes on her own guard.
Yeah. Probably move the corner to a little better spot for her, but just a little light. I think more than anything, needed to be probably backline weight or thereabouts for that shot, backline to maybe even a hair over that.
Mm-hmm.
Selena Sturmay is going to remove this corner guard. Second stone, Desiree Hawes. Good shot. Might do some damage in the house.
Oh.
Wow. That's almost unfair.
That's the Hackner double peel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real thin. That's a bonus. You don't ever call that, but you're not gonna say no when it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to be called shots. So she just looks a little bit confused when it gets a little bit messy like this, and she called, I think, a board weight shot here, probably trying to get rid of 1 yellow. I don't think you get rid of 2 with that weight, but get rid of 1 and leave your shooter somewhere there at the front. Make sure you're going to be able to score at the end of the set.
Yeah, it's looking like a force, not a steal. But yeah, you don't want this to get away from you so much, and it can be so hard because when the other team's making shots, what do you do? Where do you put a rock that forces a miss?
Yeah.
But again, you I think in this situation, you just kind of want to remember, the other team's going to make their shots, but for yourself, just you make shots. You worry about your own. Just focus on the call at hand, and then you can't control what the other team does.
Yeah, you're right. So the intern hit here. This will be a firm takeout, a regular normal takeout. Danielle Schmiemann. A little bit of cleaning. Well, that's pretty much a peel. It was an 8-second takeout, so that's pretty much peel weight. Sort of a light peel weight, I guess, but good shot either way. Remove that one. Nicky looking to, as we say, just trying to figure out a way to generate some offense here, and trying to play a little freeze on the yellow one on the left-hand side of the sheet.
Yeah, gotta find something. Find something to work here.
Yeah, I think now if you can make the freeze here and somehow get Sturmay to get rid of everything there, you get a chance to maybe hit the other one and get out of this with a blank end. I'm not seeing a 2 coming up anywhere here. Unless you take this one right by and bury it behind the yellow one, but it's probably too heavy for that. Well, maybe not. Well, it hung around. I don't know for sure if you're going to get to bring it into play, but you have a chance. Sturmay looking to hit it. Hard to believe it could be 3/4 open on the other side when it came by 5 feet earlier.
I also got to wonder, Jim, what it's like playing on a sheet that has a giant dinosaur skull on it. I don't think many people have had that opportunity.
No, probably not. No. There's some interesting logos for sure. So an in-turn hit. So probably be pretty firm as well. Not looking to stay on any of these, and I don't think you can do that. Anyway, it's a very nice shot for Danielle. Well done. I think on Kaufman, I don't know if I'm gonna. I might try to find a way to blank this in rather than try to generate 2 points. Now I don't know that there's much you could do. Actually, if she thought about the shot she just threw, even though they didn't play it, if it goes 2 feet less, it's in a pretty good spot. Might have been a better shot than even trying to make a freeze, but let's see where they go. There's no guards to work with, so you've really only got these rocks in the house.
This one's sliding in pretty good. Yeah, sliding in real good. Just got to stop.
Nicely done. If they had that exact same result a couple of ends ago, we wouldn't be looking at a 4-0 game here, Matt.
Yeah.
Selena's going to blast it out of there or pick it out of there, one of the two. I think it's probably going to... It's not maybe a hard pick, but I won't be surprised if she ends up just hitting it 2/3 on the 2/3 or 3/4, and it's still staying around and get rid of all the other two.
The Sturmay team is just playing a lot sharper right now. They're making their shots and they're making them more precise, and it shows on the scoreboard.
That's right. Usually tell when there's not a lot of panic in the sweepers, so you got it pretty good. Looks like she's going to get this one without too much trouble. So Nicky Kaufman's going to stay with the freeze here. Try to get a couple. I guess at this point, maybe it's as good as any. You're probably going to be forced anyways. Sometimes I find that curlers they play these shots and they're like, whoa, what happens? Like, if she decides to draw to that one, for example, where she might not be shot rock, and curlers sometimes are like, particularly, intermediate type curlers where if we go there and we're not shot and they just draw the other side, then what can we do? It's like, you got to look at the scoreboard a little bit, right? And say, well, really, do you think she's gonna do that? If there's even any way that she can get yours out, she's playing that. She's never playing, well, I'll split the 4-foot and try to force her to one that way. That's not going to happen. 99 times out of 100, anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's the internal chess match of the game is just one of the most fascinating things as well. Is you can be very overt in your choices. And you can talk out loud and you can say, well, I could do this. Well, she might do this. Yeah. And there's so much gamesmanship that is just so fascinating. And you don't see that in a lot of everyone else wants to be so secretive of what they want to try to do. In baseball, they're hiding their pitches. They talk into their gloves. You can't see what they're doing. Here, everything's out in the open. And it's just a matter of making the right choice and then making your shot, hitting your spot.
So not a good shot by Nicky Kaufman. She won't be happy with that. And you see how much that curls. She's light for sure, but I think that she doesn't have a lot of rotation and she doesn't really pop it, if you will. She doesn't kind of get it out to the broom. And as a result, she's over curling on shots like that.
Yeah, you're right. Especially with sweepers going the entire way, she needed a half a foot more probably just to be in the ballpark. But the fact that that has over curled, it does sort of make this a force opportunity, but I think Selena does have a chance to try to put a rock in a spot that does make that draw very difficult.
Yeah. Need Paige Papley just coming back. She was just down to have a look. I think as a sweeper, sometimes it's good to see exactly where you're trying to go here. And maybe for a second was thinking we would give this some thought, make sure we don't play this short and have her have it double for 2. Despite the fact it'd be very hard, it is there. So he's doing really looking just to put this in the house. full 8 foot, somewhere near the top. Doesn't set up any kind of a triple. Top of the 4, full 8 foot would be good. And this one's going to settle in pretty good spot, I think. It's a good shot. We mentioned earlier we were going to try to fill you in on how they got there. The Sturmay team, both these teams came into this with 2 losses, obviously, and the Sturmay team started with by defeating Stixma 7-3, and then lost to Silvernagel 5-4 in an extra end. Then defeated Yoshimura 7-4. Then lost to Takata 9-1. Then defeated Claire Booth 7-5, where game she had to come back in and eventually ended up stealing 2 in the extra end to make it to here. So she's just been she's going against the grain here. She's the trend there would say she's probably not going to win this game, but not looking like that. And Kaufman took a little while to get going. They started with a loss to Sasaki. Had a bye in draw 3 because they have 15 teams. They have one spot in the draw where there's going to be a little bit of a bye for a couple of teams. Then they lost to Selena Sturmay in the next game, 7-2, so they were 0-2. Then they came back and beat Stixma. It's 9-7, stealing a couple in the extra end. And then they beat Sasaki 6-5, stealing 1 in the 8th end. So that's how they both got here. Kaufman playing a hit and stick off the one in the 4 foot. Going to over curl a bit. You might be able to get the thin double if you come off it.
Oh.
Well, a big miss there, and Sturmay's going to steal 3 more. And we'll go to the break with Sturmay leading 6-0. Actually, I think it's 7-0. Oh, we're not going to have to go to the break because the teams have decided to shake hands. Kaufman's just obviously just couldn't get it going here at all today, and nothing seemed to work for them. And the Sturmay team on the other side of that were just really playing very, very well, as you would expect with a lead like that. But the end result is Sturmay winning this by some score. I don't think that score is right, but I think it would finish up 7-0. But whatever it was, Sturmay will now proceed or advance to the playoffs, and Kaufman is now eliminated from competition. So for myself, Jim Nix, and Matt Sussman, we are happy you could join us. Too bad we didn't get a few more ends in, Matt, but that's to happen sometimes. And we'll say goodnight from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major here in Beaumont, Alberta.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.